Hey, hi, you're right. Hello. How are you? Oh yeah, all right. All right. Oh yeah, because we're going to have Star School. Yeah. Yes, good stuff. If it doesn't pour with rain. Yeah. So.
Okay, so like Shakespeare.
Emma? No, don't get up, don't get up. You're right. You make me feel like the Queen Mother. You what?
UK Parliament.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Hiya.
I'm So Stevens, involvement coordinator.
Oh, brilliant. And you were, so I forgot what was your... Hiya.
I'm
I'm Luke, Sheffield Youth Council.
Chair of the Youth Council?
Yeah,
of the Sheffield Youth Council. Brilliant. Thanks so much for that. Have you been waiting for ages? I'm sorry.
no, not too long.
Stuck in horrendous traffic. I've been in London, Nottingham, Nottingham, Leicester, and here. Just a little bit, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what we wanted to do this evening was, as soon as we knew what was happening in the rest of the country, then we asked if our young people would come in and work with us so that we could try and keep the rest of the people in Sheffield safe. And what we wanted them to do this evening is explain to you what it is that they've been doing this week. Because for a group of young people who are on summer holidays, this has been fantastic, the amount of work that they've been involved in.
So you've clearly done something. I mean, no, because I mean, just so different.
Tell the story.
Yeah, well, it's, first, obviously, we're all aware of the riots that have happened and the sort of destruction to other people's local communities, and we didn't want that in Sheffield. And what we really found...
Can I just interrupt? At what point did you start worrying about it spread? Was that on immediately after the Tottenham thing, or was it on the Monday, Tuesday?
It would have been
after Monday.
Yeah. When it spread beyond London, when the body...
Exactly, that Tuesday morning.
Yeah. So we didn't want that to happen, and I must say the young people in Sheffield, there was absolutely no temptation there for them to start any riots. It was all of them sort of coming together and realising that we're proud of our local community, we're proud of where we come from, and so what we want to do is protect it in the sense that we want to get the message out there that it's wrong what people are doing, and other young people took that on board and have been through social networking sites. I mean, we were kind of getting intelligence off social networking sites, relaying that to other people to try and stop any potential problems, but in the end nothing happened.
There's lots of rumours, weren't there?
Yeah,
endless rumours.
Effort. I mean, Tuesday morning when we came in.
So you came in here on Tuesday morning. So you
I
got
came
in touch
to
with each other.
Tuesday morning. Me and Lynn actually got together, spoke to Emma, who's our publicity worker as well. I contacted the young people and said, "Can you come in? We need to get an
When you say you
plan
contacted
together."
the young people, who did you? Was this something you?
My role is participation and involvement coordinator. So my job is about giving young people a voice and working with them wherever they are in the community. So I manage the team of young advisors, UK Youth Parliament, Youth Council. We've got youth forums at the local
Sheffield Futures.
Yeah. So we've got
quite... So you had a ready-made network.
Absolutely.
I mean, essentially, you didn't need to worry too much about who you
and it's a real representative group as well, because they are young people from all different backgrounds, different ethnicities, a real mix of young people. Brilliant. So when we pulled them in, very shocked, because some of them were like, right, what do you want me to do? And the first thing was like, get on Facebook. It's not often you go to work and can tell people to get on Facebook.
And that's what you did.
That's what I did.
And how did you divvy it up? I mean, how did you?
Do you want to say what each of your roles was, what you did? So,
shall I start? Yeah, well, me and Luke, the chair of the Youth Council, came in and we discussed the press release, obviously, to send out to the local press.
Do you want me to do the introduction? Let me do the introduction.
Sorry, am I right? Am I galloping to you?
No, it's just that I'm really keen that the young people get a voice. But if I just set the scene, obviously, as organisations with the local authority, we came together to look at what we needed to do in Sheffield. So that we made sure that we had a voice to other young people. We thought it would be better if our own young people were in touch with the rest of the young people of the city. So I shared that. The way we then moved was that any rumours that were out there, the police would let me know the reality. So, for example, there was a rumour that there was going to be a curfew. Well, there was no need for there to be a curfew in Sheffield. So I could feed that to the young people. They got on their network sites and made sure that the rest of the young people knew that that wasn't the case. And we carried on doing that. So any intelligence they picked up, we fed in through the intelligence route and the operation. and any information to clarify the situation we fed back out again with the young people. Plus, they managed to get an article into the Star, and Harry was on Radio Sheffield talking about the young people's perspective. So if that's the sort of setting the scene from that sort of multi-agency partnership working to start off with. Now you can describe your stories.
Who needs to go first?
I mean, talk about like Facebook and things like that, what we actually doing when people were posting things.
So it was very much sort of like looking on our Facebook, looking at our friends' Facebook, seeing if we could find messages about where anything was happening, if they were talking about what's happening, what their views about it all was. And then if anything arose that we were going to Sarah or Lynn and saying, website this, skills, there's a rule in here, what we have to do, then they're going to the police and getting that sorted out. But
took it a bit further than that as well.
One of my Facebook friends posted a video link to YouTube of the riots in London. I then wrote a private message on Facebook to that young person and just said, look, you're spreading a message which we don't want, so can you remove that off your Facebook wall, please? And
they did.
Yeah.
So it was just counteracting all along those things.
And was there a huge amount of traffic then? Yeah, there must have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What people didn't realise.
Mainly Facebook, Twitter?
Twitter as well.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. What
And
people,
BlackBerry Messenger.
I use BlackBerry Messenger, and there were people's statuses basically saying, oh, TJ was tonight at 11 o'clock, and it would just basically saying, well, no, that's not true.
And so you then send out a message saying that's not true?
saying that's not true, don't believe all rumours, you know, and anything you do here, please send it to me so I can put it out.
And just tell me out of curiosity, let's say you got a BlackBerry message saying 11 o'clock tonight outside the store or whatever.
Yeah.
How quickly would you then check that with the police and then provide an answer? What would you?
Within minutes, really.
Literally within minutes?
They were like a hotline for the police.
It literally went.
And how did that work? Was that on the phone or was that by? Were they here?
Mobile. I had
You
mobile
rang them?
contact
And who would
direct.
you ring?
Chief Inspector Paul McCurry.
That one, right.
Yeah.
So that worked completely from the beginning.
Yes.
So impressive.
And the places and the times where we did think that, you know, that it was a potential risk, the police, young people, we all really concentrated, so putting messages out there that, you know...
Was there any point at which you thought something was going to kick off? Or?
Tuesday lunchtime was the key one, 1
it?
o'clock Tuesday lunchtime, and they did step up police. So we did move to police on the town hall, some mounted police in front of the city hall, helicopter overhead. By 1:30 we all were reassured there wasn't anything going to happen. It was all stepped straight back down again.
Very low key.
Yeah.
Only 2 police outside the city hall. It wasn't, you know, everyone diving in and then back out again. So it was about squashing rumours. And the other bit, what they've done then is the big ones.
You can read this
Luke, do you want to talk through this?
We put this together, like go out to all the young people and the youth workers and stuff, like letting them know what's happening, what advice they've got, and just how they can be responsible.
It's actions and consequences.
Actions and consequences.
And if you look on the back, just, you know, it might be an innocent remark that young people are putting on Facebook or Twitter, but actually that could have consequences, and they need to be aware of that.
Harry from Youth
How did you get this out though? How did you?
Email to all our youth workers.
Email.
Yeah, so all the youth workers have got surprised. Harry from UKYP and of course Nick from Youth Council and the rest of the groups are all voted in, and they talk a lot about young people's voice and young people's rights. But with rights come the responsibilities, and with actions come the consequences, and they were very keen.
One of you wrote an email to me.
It was
you. Yes, sorry, it was you. Sorry, sorry. Very rude, but yeah, you did. Yeah, no, you made a very good point. That's very. You made a big impression. Yeah.
It was worth. I mean, return that point. It's worth saying, you know, the people causing the damage were criminals, but they weren't necessarily all young people.
No,
and we really wanted to get that message across to people. It was about drawing the anger away from young people as a group, young people sort of a section in society, and actually, you know, putting the anger on people who had caused crime. But in Sheffield, that wasn't the case because there were no riots that happened. And
but what's your? I mean, other than the fact that you guys did something brilliant, obviously, but there must be something. There must be a bigger reason why it didn't happen in a city such as ours, and it did happen in.
What these guys were really good at putting out was that we're proud of our city.
Yeah.
We live in our community. We don't want
We have
to
a stake
trash
in
our
our
own
community.
community. You know, we're going to be living and working here. It's our families. It's our businesses.
I think there is something in that.
And that is, you know, and that's what you all very, you know, real.
It's a strong sense of identity.
Amongst
Yeah.
our statistical neighbours, we've got the highest number of 16 to 19 needs with our statistical neighbours. If we want people to invest in this city and give us jobs for young people, then we can't have this behaviour. And that was a very clear message that they
but it's clearly also that you sent out these fantastic messages, but they responded. And what's important to think about is that they must respond because they did feel proud to be Sheffielders, and they don't want to trash their own community.
And they voted these young people in to speak on their behalf. I mean, so they, you know, they're known to them.
Emma, talk about the BYC conference yesterday in Manchester.
Yeah, some of us went down to the British Youth Council conference in Manchester, and they gave us a statistic of 6% of young people joined the riot groups on Facebook to support them, but 94% of young people joined the groups against rioting. So it wasn't the majority of young people joining it, it was some young people who saw the opportunity to do something.
And it does a terrible disservice to you if not only a community is trashed, but also if the reputation of young people are trashed. And that's something we need to really...
And you know, these guys have worked so hard, and I think, you know, in Sheffield we've done so much work in the last 20, 30 years to build that gap between the generations, building communities. We're not just going to have a group of young people come, or, you know, young people, old people for that matter, and come and trash all that. And that was very strong.
Yeah, it was absolutely, just on the radio, sort of, we'd all agreed, the key message is calling for calm in Sheffield. And recognising obviously that we have a sense of ownership in our communities. And I was speaking to some young people, and we wouldn't be prepared any time to wreck our own communities and to cause that kind of damage. So underlying it all was a sense of ownership. Underlying it was a commitment to
having a stake.
We live in our communities, and that was kind of the key message we were getting across in Sheffield. Now, as I've said, there was no temptation from young people to carry out any sort of violent act, but it was just about ensuring that any provocation was.
And tell me about how you obviously work very well with the police, and you sound as if you're full of praise with what they did.
Absolutely. We made sure they had information about where all our detached workers were across the city. Therefore, what they weren't doing is if they saw a group of young people approaching them when there was maybe a youth worker with them, so they weren't causing any antagonism that way. They let it be because they knew where they were. They had the contact details. If there were young people on their own elsewhere, they would contact the nearest detached team and say, can you go and talk to these young people? So it wasn't sort of seen as heavy-handed with the police going along to talk to them. So very much a joined-up approach with our detached youth work staff and the police, and very close links in community with community policing.
Do you know by any chance whether this was happening in Doncaster or Rotherham? Because it is quite striking for South Yorkshire as a whole, it seems to be so far.
I think, you know, for us in Sheffield, it was being on the ball straight first thing Tuesday morning. Yeah, I mean, these guys were in the office by 10:30. You know, literally getting people.
And can I ask you? I mean, just so outside Sheffield now, I mean, you must be as shocked as anybody else by what we see on the telly screen. So how do you? We can never excuse it. How do you explain it though? How do you?
Well, I mean, you'd say first of all, the people who were, because it was such a large crowd of people. I mean, you'd say it was a minority within the community, but it was such a large crowd of people that people were faceless in the crowd. They weren't going to get caught, and so it was opportunism on their part, but because they weren't going to get caught. Now, obviously, there must be some underlying reason as to why they took that sort of opportunity, that chance to steal things and to loot local businesses. And I think, again, those questions can be answered in terms of them having a sense of ownership in their own communities, and that might have not been the case. But overall, to me, it was opportunism, and it was you seeing there were sort of 600...
Sparked by what they themselves saw in Tottenham?
Yeah.
Copycat. Yeah. If they can do it there, we can do it here.
Well, they were sheep. They followed suit.
So at that point, it's important. They felt people were getting away with it.
Yeah.
So
we've had
the
positive
fact
media in Sheffield, haven't we?
Yeah.
Negative
Which
media.
is another point
So it's
about
not fair.
another point about media responsibility as well, and about how people are covering the riots and some of the comments in the media, because the media obviously people kind of see it, and if they recognise police are out of control in this area, well, perhaps the police are out of control. It's not out of control in terms of like mad, but out of control in terms of trying to handle the situation because it was quite difficult. They were having to play catch up, basically.
One that's really important that people should know about what you've done is that if we all just assume it's the moment people think they can have a go and then we get caught, they'll do it. It's clearly not the case here. People wouldn't want to have a go, which is what you're saying. People wouldn't want to have a go anyway because they wouldn't want to trash their own communities. Because it's a really, really dismal thing to say that everybody's ready to smash a window if they can. Because that's clearly not.
Yeah. And I think, you know, to some extent with media, there was that portrayal about it's young people, unemployed young people, you know, and they were all that like stereotyping, but actually that's not the case, is it? And we're seeing that through the courts, that people with good jobs were getting involved, that, you know, some real inspirational young people.
But we're already just seeing that now because of the courts.
We
At
didn't
the time, it was very much about these must be unemployed, they must be this, that, and the other. And therefore they think, well, if I've got nothing to lose, then I'll join in. But they do have something to lose. You know, and it's really important, and I think they've done well. I think the other thing in Sheffield, and I'm not sure if it's the same elsewhere, but they have a say in how funding is spent. They have a say on what activities are put on for them. Therefore, they have a vested interest. You know, and so they'd be spoiling things for themselves.
And there's been lots of provision as well for some holidays, especially places like Sheffield
Lots of voluntary sector organisations.
Like they're keeping young people busy, they're not.
So I think where we're going to go next in Darnell, there's extra provision for them.
Absolutely.
In addition, like today, it's open free wild seats.
The centre.
They respond to what they don't. Vaz was saying they don't normally open on Tuesday night, but they open to keep young people off the streets.
Sue, do you want to explain?
They
don't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, DEC where you're going this evening, we opened that, we asked young people, do you want the centre open, you know, on Tuesday night, and they said yes. It's also opening earlier at the moment because Ramadan's on for young people, because that's what they want. I think the other important thing for me about Sheffield is that partnership working with the police. That's been going on a long time. It's been going on a long time. It's not going to be as a result of what's happening in the rest of the country. That's been embedded in our work for a long time. And the detached work we do, and we've got detached workers, some of the key communities in Sheffield we were concerned about, like Darnell, Sharrow, Broom Hall and Burn Grieve. We were just looking at today, weren't we, the kind of provision in each of those key areas. We've got provision either 7 nights a week or 6. So that work is already there, centre-based and detached work. So you've got workers in that area, youth workers, who know those young people, they know the shopkeepers, they know the PCSOs. And I think that's had a huge impact in us all being out there immediately. And Sheffield Futures staff have been absolutely great. They've been working non-stop.
That's amazing, because I know your morale
really, really good.
Been helped recently.
No, but we're still being paid, aren't we, to do the job, so that's what we're doing. You know,
including Shafak, who was out there.
Not dressed like this, though.
And maybe that is something really unusual in Sheffield. You know, we do have Shafak, who is a youth worker. He does listen to young people, he does take notice, you know, of what young people say. So, you know, we have that benefit.
We've had young people all week going out. Actually, you know, a lot of these guys around this table have been part of that, going around evaluating some provision. So actually, young people themselves know that it is what young people want. That we're providing the right thing, and that, you know, it's what they want. They're asking for it. It's not just something that youth workers.
What's very striking listening to you is that you're obviously wonderful kind of confidence that the people who need to be reached are being reached, and that's from years and years and years of work you've done. I mean, give me quickly a sort of feel for why that's there, because in many parts of the country that's not the case, frankly. You know, many parts of the country I'll visit projects, and if you press really hard, you actually find that the kids you really want to reach, who need the most kind of support, aren't being reached at all. And in fact, you have a sort of self-selecting. But you feel that you're really kind of reaching right out.
Our management information is excellent. Our database, our knowledge of where our vulnerable groups are, and we target delivery based on those stats.
When we go out to young people, because we have youth centres across the city, but we know a lot of young people choose not to use them. They want to be out on the streets. And that's where our detached workers, they go out there, and that's what they'll be doing on the street-based team tonight. They're going out to where young people are, and talking to young people and talking to shopkeepers and local businesses.
It's very much being in the community and working with the community rather than being...
Not sitting behind a desk and waiting for them to come in here,
And I think, you know...
And multi-agency.
And a lot of... It's for those young people who do, you know, geoblogs, who goes to whatever youth club on a night. If he's not happy with something, he's got a route through. And so, you know, the participation involvement has been really driven forward, not just within this organisation, but within the council, the police. You know, we've got workers who are really keen on making sure, not tokenistic involvement either, and ticking boxes, but real valuable. So we're setting up the structures. It might be different in one area to another, but anybody who's, you know, stands on the street, on that street corner, and is not happy about something, has got a voice in the town hall.
That's fantastic.
Our youth councillors are going to be doing joint surgeries with our councillors across the city, you know, so that the young people's voice is just as important.
We should come and do that with my surgeries.
Yeah.
Seriously.
With everybody.
So far we've done, I mean, the Youth Parliament and also...
I want a surgery tomorrow?
The Youth Council, we were doing, we've only done joint surgery so far with 3 members of Parliament in Sheffield, but we'll be very keen.
Joint surgeries?
Yeah. So obviously with the MP and the Youth Parliament and the Youth Council, and then we'd invite the young people from your constituency.
Let's do that. I'd like to do that. Very much fun.
Lovely.
Very much fun. How do we get that?
If you want to liaise with Harry and Sarah.
Okay, and what's something kicking off in Burngreave tonight? I was told something. Have you heard? Just one car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of rumours.
It's nothing serious.
No, nothing serious. I mean, the other thing I've been doing is sending Nick some of the text messages I've been getting.
Yeah, but some of them are wonderful. But the one about God, but mind you did send it to me about 2:30.
I know I did. I live a sad life.
What now? But policeman playing with his football helmet.
I thought I'll send you that.
No, using helmets as goalposts.
With the young people in the area.
Yeah, with the young people. What, at 2 o'clock in the morning? No.
Well, no, not 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's when he sent it.
I think the other thing was, I mean, I've been part of the strategic group meeting with the police and all the emergency services and the council, and what was really interesting was about the police commander who was in charge of that operation, valuing youth work.
Yeah.
Valuing youth work and recognising what an important role youth workers have.
Martin.
Yeah, and I mean that was really important about making sure we could get those messages out, and that's where you guys came in, wasn't it? I mean, it's about using social networking in a positive way, isn't it?
And then we do have to be absolutely...
That's the thing, we mustn't just completely brand social networking.
Yeah.
I think we mustn't...
There's a danger.
It's done a lot of good. It's done a lot of good this week, social networking and social media. In terms of people rising up against the riots in the city, there was a hashtag on Twitter. Yeah, in the city it's done excellent. There was a hashtag on Twitter which was "Steal, not steal." Steal city, not steal.
Yeah.
In terms of taking things, and
Steal, not steal.
That was, I think it was trending for a bit, and people really got on board with that.
And these guys know the technology. They you know, I wouldn't have known how to...
You know what steal, not steal, trending. And you know the hashtag.
I would not have got... I'm a dab hand at Facebook, but Twitter I'm not. No. But I would not have been able to get all the tweets what involved Sheffield and riots together. Yeah, within 2 seconds, Luke. There you go, Sarah.
Say again, what?
Went on Twitter.
Yeah, you can go on Twitter and you can search like keywords, and so we put in Sheffield and riots, and a lot of information came up on there, and like pictures of like BlackBerry messages saying this is where we're going to meet, blah blah blah, and it's happening in the rest of the country. Why isn't it happening in Sheffield? And I think a lot of people have turned around and said like, I don't think it needs to happen in Sheffield. Like what we said, we're very proud of our city, and I think we've got a fantastic team of organisations that come together, like, and basically work alongside each other and do a fantastic job. And I think a lot of young people, like in other places, might not have that services, but it's absolutely fantastic in Sheffield. And I know I've access to a lot of services, and it's great in Sheffield.
And these guys are upstairs on the computers, they're working next to youth workers, you know, personal advisors, sitting doing their work. They're really part of this company. It's not wait there until someone collects you or things like that. They're part of it. They've got hot desks upstairs in the office space for young people.
And this is supposed to be your holiday time?
Yeah, exactly. Every day this week they've been in.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. That's I've got to go, I'm afraid. But
day trip up, haven't you?
You what?
It would have been in Skeggy.
Today?
Yeah.
It's really it's an excuse. It's really it's pouring, I think. Hey, look, thank you very, very much indeed. That's really. I know there are a whole lot of bunch of wider issues we should also talk about on other occasions. But let's do this surgery thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sorry?
Should I contact your office?
Yeah. Ant, hello.
Yes.
As if by magic.
I think the other thing as well is obviously looking at the gang scenario and whatever.
Yeah.
We've had very good gang teams working in the city before, and these young people.
Well, a lot of work was done after a couple of years ago.
Yeah. But these young people would very much like to have their voice heard if it's part of any development work in that way. But when I say these young people, they don't do it in isolation. They go back out to the areas and do it with all the young people. Yeah. So when things are being developed, young people need to be there right at the beginning of all of this.
Well, look, I'm now going to go to Radio Sheffield and wax lyrical about you guys, and then
You were there earlier.
you probably didn't wax lyrical about me. Don't worry, I have no illusions. But then I'm going on to the centre in Dunham. Yeah.
DC, yeah.
Anyway, lovely to see you.
Okay, guys.
Pudding?
Oh yeah,
Mr. Clegg, do you want to get a picture? Sorry?
You two can become a hoodie.
Do you want a group picture as well?
Oh yes.
It's a Sheffield Futures.
You have to wear it to prove that all.
I'm not going to wear it as a photo. Not this time. But I'll hold it up.
You can present it to Nick and then...
Well, come on, other young people instead.
Yeah, let's do one big group photo.
Guys, do a group photo. Come on. Where do we want to stand?
Come on, guys.
Someone presentable.
Yeah, but you can come to change the board in your yes. Is that yes, thank you. Oh yes.